Shalom, my friends. Today we are going to uncover a secret that has been hidden in plain sight within our sacred texts for thousands of years. It is a forgotten form of prayer. A spiritual technology so powerful that when you use it correctly, it has the ability to align you with the creative forces of the universe and draw to you anything you ask for. This is not a metaphor. This is not positive thinking. This is a precise ancient formula for answered prayer. By the end of this video, you will know what this forgotten prayer is, why it works, and exactly how to use it to transform your reality. But first, I want you to be honest, at least with yourself. What is the one thing you have been praying for the longest? The one desire of your heart that feels unanswered? Is it financial security? Is it healing? Is it a soulmate? Is it peace in your home? Clarity in your purpose? Stability in your mind? Bring it to the surface, name it. Acknowledge it. Because today we are going to change the way you pray for it forever. And as you do that, I want to invite you into something bigger than just another inspiring video. We are building an army of souls who are ready to move beyond a life of passive wishing and step into a life of active co-creation with God. People who are done with spiritual theory and ready for spiritual practice. If you feel that fire in you, then make a simple declaration. Decide that you are ready for more, that you are willing to be taught, to be stretched, to be transformed from the inside out. Now let's begin. I want to take you back to a time in my life when my prayers felt like they were hitting a ceiling of brass. I was trying to secure a major contract for my business. This wasn't just another deal. It was a game changer. It would have provided security for my family for years to come. I had told myself, if this comes through, things will finally be stable, we'll finally be safe. Every morning and every night I prayed with an intensity that bordered on desperation. God, please, I need this. Please let them say yes. Please don't let this opportunity pass me by. My prayers were long, emotional, and filled with the energy of, I don't have, I need. I'm afraid I won't get. I fasted. I gave extra charity. I did everything I thought a good religious person was supposed to do when they really wanted something from God. The day of the decision came, and I waited by the phone, my stomach in knots. I checked my email every few minutes. I rehearsed what I would say when I got the good news. Then the phone finally rang. I took a deep breath, answered, and heard the words I was not prepared for. I'm so sorry. We've decided to go with another company. In a single moment, the future I had imagined collapsed. It wasn't just the financial loss. It was a crisis of faith. I had prayed so hard, so sincerely. I had done everything right. Why hadn't God answered? What was the point of all that effort, all those tears? In the depths of that disappointment, I went to my rabbi, my mentor, and I poured out my heart. I told him everything, the opportunity, the prayers, the fasting, the rejection, the confusion, the anger. He listened patiently, without interrupting, without rushing to fix anything. When I was finally empty, he looked at me and asked a question that changed my life. He said, "Did you ask, or did you thank?" I was confused. Of course I asked, I said. I begged, I pleaded, I asked again and again. He smiled gently and said, "That is why you failed. You were using the prayer of a beggar. You need to learn the forgotten prayer of a king." At first, his words stung. How could he tell me my prayers were wrong? But as he explained, something deep inside me began to recognize the truth. What my rabbi was pointing to is a spiritual sickness that affects almost everyone who prays. It is the sickness of the prayer of lack. We come to God like paupers holding out an empty bowl, describing in great detail how empty it is. God, I'm so broke. Please send me money. God, I'm so lonely. Please send me a partner. God, I'm so sick. Please heal me. God, I'm so afraid. Please make it stop. We think we're demonstrating faith by telling God how badly we need Him. But what we are actually doing is vibrating with the energy of lack. We are meditating on our problem. We are telling the universe and God that our dominant reality is what we don't have. Our thoughts are full of absence. Our words are full of emptiness. Our emotions are soaked in fear. The Yetzer Hara, the negative inclination, loves this. It keeps us focused on the problem, not the solution. It keeps us in a state of powerlessness, forever waiting for an external force to rescue us. This form of prayer, while sincere, is spiritually impotent. It is like trying to attract wealth by constantly talking about how poor you are. It violates a fundamental law of the spiritual universe. You become what you constantly dwell on. The cost of this error is immeasurable. It leads to unanswered prayers, which lead to disillusionment, which lead to a quiet loss of faith. We conclude that God isn't listening, or worse, that God isn't real, when in truth we've been using the wrong spiritual technology all along. We have been speaking the language of lack to a God who only responds to the language of abundance and faith. So what is the forgotten prayer? What is the prayer of a king? The secret is embedded in the story of our matriarch Leah. In the book of Genesis, Leah is in a state of profound emotional lack. She is married to Jacob, but she knows he loves her sister Rachel more. She feels second, unwanted, tolerated, but not chosen. She lives in a home where her presence is needed, but her heart is not cherished. She has a son and names him Reuben. God has seen my suffering. Her identity is still wrapped in her pain. She has a second son and names him Simeon. God has heard that I am unloved. Again, the name echoes her wound. She has a third son and names him Levi. Now my husband will become attached to me. Her hope is still tied to what she lacks: Jacob's love. Her entire reality is defined by what she doesn't have. Her language, her naming, her inner world are all revolving around absence. But then something shifts. When her fourth son is born, she does something radically different. She names him Judah, Yehuda. This name comes from the root word hoda'ah, which means to thank. She says, "This time, I will thank the Lord." Notice this carefully. She doesn't say, "I will thank you because now Jacob loves me." Jacob's feelings have not changed. Her external circumstances are the same. What changes is her inner posture. She stops focusing on what she lacks and chooses to thank God for what she has. She performs an act of pure, unconditional gratitude. She thanks without evidence. She praises without proof. This is the forgotten prayer. It is the prayer of hoda'ah, the prayer of gratitude that is not dependent on circumstances. And what is the result of this shift? From Judah, the tribe of kings descends. King David, King Solomon, and ultimately the Messiah all come from the lineage of Judah, the lineage of gratitude. The Torah is teaching us a monumental secret. Kingship, power, and the ability to manifest reality are born not from asking, but from thanking. The prayer of gratitude is the prayer that creates. My rabbi looked at me and said, "You must stop praying like Leah before Judah and start praying like Leah after Judah. Stop telling God how empty the bowl is. Start thanking Him that the bowl is already full." In that moment, the forgotten prayer began to reveal itself. My rabbi gave me a very specific instruction. He said, "Stop praying for the contract. Start thanking God for the contract as if you already have it." It felt insane. It felt dishonest. How could I thank God for something that clearly had not happened? The company had already chosen someone else. The door was closed. The file was stamped rejected. But I was desperate enough to try. I changed my prayer. Instead of saying, "God, please give me this contract," I began to say, "God, thank you for the wisdom to serve this new client with excellence. Thank you for the opportunity to provide for my family through this contract. Thank you for the abundance that is flowing into my life. Thank you that this door is open for me in the spiritual world." I didn't just say the words mechanically. I worked to feel the emotions, the relief, the joy, the gratitude, as if it were already done. I imagined shaking hands with the client. I imagined seeing the payment hit my account. I imagined telling my family the good news. I wasn't praying for the outcome. I was praying from the outcome. I was no longer speaking the language of lack. I was speaking the language of fulfillment. A few weeks later, I received a phone call. The company that had rejected me was in crisis. The competitor they had chosen had failed to deliver, projects were behind schedule. Promises had been broken. They needed someone to rescue them. "Can you step in and take over?" they asked. "We're willing to revise the terms." The new terms were even better than the original offer. It was then I understood. I had received what I prayed for, but only after I stopped begging for it and started being grateful for it. I learned that faith is not merely hoping something will happen. Faith is thanking God that it has already happened in the spiritual realm and trusting that your gratitude is the force that draws it into the physical realm. So how do you apply this forgotten prayer to your life in a practical, daily way? I want to give you a 3-step framework. I call it the Judah Protocol. Step 1. Clarify the vision. You cannot be truly grateful for something vague. You must know exactly what you are asking for. But here is the key. You must frame it not as something you want to get, but as a reality you want to experience. Don't just say, "I want $1 million." A number is lifeless. Instead, describe the reality. I am living in a state of financial abundance, able to provide for my family with ease, support my community generously, and live a life free from financial panic. Feel the difference? One is a static figure. The other is a living, breathing reality. Write down your vision in the present tense, as if it is already true. I am healthy. I am peacefully married to a loving partner. I am running a thriving business that blesses thousands. Be specific but stay rooted in experience, not just objects. Step 2. The gratitude incantation. This is where you perform the prayer of Hodah. You take your clarified vision and you turn it into a prayer of thanksgiving. You do not say, "God, please make this happen." You say, "God, thank you that this is happening. Thank you that this is already my reality in your world. Thank you, God, for my strong, healthy body that heals itself with ease. Thank you, God, for my loving, supportive soulmate with whom I share a life of joy and partnership. Thank you, God, for my thriving business that serves thousands and generates generous profit." You must speak this out loud. Words carry creative power. You are not just reporting reality, you are shaping it. You are choosing the frequency on which your life will vibrate. Do this every morning and every night. Flood your consciousness with the language of gratitude and fulfillment. Step 3. Embody the feeling. This step supercharges the prayer. It is not enough to say the words. You must feel the emotions of the fulfilled reality. After you speak your gratitude incantation, close your eyes and imagine that your vision is real right now. Step into that version of yourself. What does it feel like to live free from the fear that has haunted you? What does it feel like to wake up next to the partner you prayed for? What does it feel like to see your bank account steady and strong, your body vibrant and energetic, your home filled with peace? Let the emotion of gratitude wash over you. Let your heart swell with thankfulness for a reality your physical eyes have not yet seen, but your spiritual eyes already know. Our sages teach that the main service of God is in the heart. The universe does not respond primarily to your words. It responds to your emotional state. When your emotional state matches the reality you desire, you become a magnet for that reality. This is the deepest meaning of faith. Faith is not just a thought, it is a feeling, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let me give you a real-world example. A woman in my community came to me in tears. She had been trying to conceive a child for 5 years. She had prayed every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Her prayers were desperate. "Please, God, please give me a baby. Please don't let me be barren. Please hear my cry." Every month that passed without a pregnancy was another confirmation of her lack. Her prayers, unintentionally, were reinforcing her pain. I taught her the Judah Protocol. I told her to stop praying for a baby and start thanking God for the child that was already hers in the spiritual realm. She was skeptical, even offended. "How can I thank him for something I don't have?" she asked. "Isn't that lying?" I told her. "It is not lying, it is faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. When you thank God for something before you see it, you are demonstrating the highest form of trust. You are saying, I believe you have already answered me, even though my physical eyes cannot yet see it. She agreed to try. Every morning and every night she would say, Thank you, God, for my healthy, beautiful child. Thank you for the joy of motherhood. Thank you for the blessing of new life in my home. Then she would close her eyes and imagine holding her baby, feeling the weight of that little body, smelling the softness of the baby's skin, hearing the sound of tiny breaths against her chest. She did this for 3 months. Then she conceived. 9 months later, she gave birth to a healthy son. She named him Yehuda, Judah, in honor of the prayer of gratitude that brought him into her life. Why is this so powerful? Kabbalah teaches that God created the world with speech. Let there be light. And there was light. Our words, when spoken with faith, are a pale echo of that divine creative power. When you pray from a place of lack, you are, in a sense, creating more lack. You are using your speech to reinforce the problem. But when you pray with gratitude, when you thank God for the reality you desire, you are aligning your tiny spark of creative power with His infinite creative power. You are speaking His language. You are partnering with Him in the act of creation. This is what it means to be created in the image of God. You have been given the ability to shape your inner world with words and emotions, and your inner world shapes your outer reality. There is a teaching in our tradition that says, according to the pain is the reward, but there is another side to that truth. According to the joy is the abundance. The more joy and gratitude you feel, the more abundance flows into your life. The universe is a mirror. It reflects back to you the energy you radiate. If you radiate lack, you receive lack. If you radiate gratitude and abundance, you receive more to be grateful for. This is why the Torah commands us to serve God with joy. It is not a suggestion to be cheerful, it is an instruction in spiritual mechanics. Joy and gratitude are the frequencies on which blessings travel. Gratitude also short-circuits the Yetzer Hara. The negative inclination thrives on doubt, fear, and worry. It cannot survive in an atmosphere saturated with thanks. When you are genuinely grateful, you are immune to its whispers of despair. Gratitude becomes a spiritual force field around your mind. This is why King David, a man who lived through war, betrayal, and danger, filled his psalms with thanksgiving. He was not merely being poetic, he was doing spiritual warfare. He was wielding gratitude as a weapon against inner and outer darkness. And now, it is your turn to do the same. Here is my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, abandon the prayer of lack. Put it down like an old worn-out garment that no longer fits who you are becoming. For 30 days, use only the Judah protocol. Every morning, clarify your vision. Write it again in the present tense. I am, not one day I will be, not maybe if I'm lucky, but I am. You are training your mind and heart to recognize a higher truth than what your senses report. Then perform your gratitude incantation. Speak your thanksgiving out loud, morning and night. Let your own ears hear your new story. Let your nervous system feel the vibration of fulfillment instead of the vibration of fear. Finally, embody the feeling. Spend at least 5 minutes a day feeling the emotions of your answered prayer. Don't rush this. Let your body relax into the reality of it is done. Let your breathing slow as if the problem is already resolved. Let your shoulders drop as if the burden has already been lifted. And before you do any of this, add an advanced technique that multiplies the power of the prayer. Our sages call it Hakarat Hatov, recognizing the good. Before you thank God for what you desire, spend a few minutes thanking Him for what you already have. Thank Him for your breath, for your eyes that can see these words, for the roof over your head, the food you have eaten, the people who love you, the wisdom you've gained from every painful lesson. Count your blessings, not as a cliche, but as a deliberate spiritual exercise. When you cultivate a habit of gratitude for what is already present, you create a foundation of abundance consciousness. You train your mind to see blessings instead of problems, divine orchestration instead of chaos. From that state, your prayers for new blessings become exponentially more powerful. You are no longer praying from desperation, you are praying from overflow. This is the inner secret of the wealthy, not just financially wealthy but spiritually wealthy. They do not wait until they have abundance to feel abundant. They feel abundant first, and the outer abundance follows. Now, some of you may still have a question burning in your heart. Isn't it arrogant to thank God for something I haven't received yet? Isn't that presumptuous? The answer is no. It is the opposite of arrogance. Arrogance is believing you are alone. Arrogance is thinking you know better than God. Arrogance is quietly assuming that He is unwilling or unable to provide for you. When you thank God in advance, you are demonstrating humility. You are saying, I trust your goodness more than I trust my circumstances. I trust your promise more than I trust my fears. I trust that what I need is already on its way because you are faithful. This is the essence of immuna, faith, not blind optimism, but confident trust in the character of God. The Psalms are full of this kind of faith. King David often thanked God for deliverance before the deliverance had arrived. Surrounded by enemies, he would say, "You have delivered me," speaking in the past tense about a victory that had not yet manifested in the physical world. He was not delusional. He was prophetic. He was calling forth the future reality into the present moment with words of gratitude. You have that same power. The forgotten prayer is not reserved for saints and mystics. It is the birthright of every soul created in the image of God. Let me leave you with one more story that seals this truth. There was a great general in the Tanakh named Naaman. He was powerful, respected, influential, but he was also a leper. His outer glory could not hide his inner suffering. He came to the prophet Elisha desperate for healing, expecting a dramatic miracle, a grand ritual that would match his status. Instead, Elisha sent a simple message. Go and immerse yourself in the Jordan River 7 times. Naaman was offended. 7 times in that little river? That's it? It felt beneath him, too ordinary, too small, but his servants pleaded with him to obey. So he went. He dipped into the water once, nothing changed. Twice, still a leper. 3, 4, 5 times. His skin was the same, but on the 7th immersion, his flesh was restored like the flesh of a child. The lesson is clear. The miracle often comes on the 7th step, not the 1st. The spiritual realm responds to consistency and faith. You must persist in the practice of gratitude even when you see no immediate result. Do not quit on the 3rd day because nothing has shifted yet. Do not throw away the Judah protocol after 1 week because the evidence has not caught up with the promise. Keep thanking, keep feeling, keep believing. The sea will part, but often only when your feet are already in the water. Now, let's go even deeper. One of the most profound teachings in our tradition is hidden in plain sight in the very first verse of the Torah. In the beginning, God, Elohim, created the heavens and the earth. The divine name used here is Elohim. In Hebrew, every word has a numerical value. The value of Elohim is 86. The value of the word Hateva, which means nature, is also 86. This is not a coincidence, it is a code. It tells us that God and nature are not 2 separate realities in conflict. The laws of the spiritual realm and the laws of the physical realm are 2 expressions of the same divine order. When you pray with gratitude, when you align your words and emotions with the reality you desire, you are not asking God to violate nature. You are activating a higher law that governs both nature and spirit. You are working with the universe, not against it. You are stepping into alignment with the source from which both the visible and the invisible flow. This is why the forgotten prayer works. It is not magic. It is not manipulation. It is alignment. Remember this. The forgotten prayer is not a trick to control God. It is a practice to align yourself with His will and His abundance. When you pray with gratitude, you are not forcing the universe to give you what you want. You are opening yourself to receive what God has already prepared for you. You are removing the blocks of doubt, fear, and lack that have been damming up the river of blessing. You become a clear channel for divine provision. This is the prayer of kings. This is the prayer of Leah when she named her son Judah. This is the prayer of King David in his Psalms. This is the prayer that turned a rejected contract into a greater opportunity. This is the prayer that turned barren tears into the laughter of a child named Yehuda. And now, it can be your prayer. Stop begging. Start thanking. Stop praying for it. Start praying from it. Shift your identity from the one who is waiting outside the throne room to the one who has been invited to sit at the king's table. Shalom, my friend. May you be blessed with the wisdom to pray with gratitude, the faith to feel your prayers as already answered, and the joy of watching your reality transform before your very eyes.